Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Engineering Made Simple. Now we were studying control systems engineering. Now in the previous lectures we have studied what were the transfer functions of a control system and how do we denote and interpret the transfer function and what does a transfer function means. Now in today's class we will study the topic which is known as block diagram representation of control system. So as you can see the diagram over here. The diagram here depicts a closed loop control system, any arbitrary system I have taken. So as you can see, feedback path is present and there is a summing junction present and there is a takeoff point also present over here. So from that only, from the presence of feedback path, from seeing the presence of the feedback path only, you should be able to understand that whenever feedback path is present in any control system, it is our closed loop control system. So this is a simple block diagram representation of a closed loop control system. So now understand the different elements of a block diagram representation. Now what is block diagram representation actually? So block diagram representation is nothing but a pictorial or graphical representation of a control system which consists of, and as you know, control system consists of multiple subsystems. So a whole control system or a complete control system is made up of individual small subsystems. So in that manner only I have represented the block diagram simply. So the block diagram is nothing but a pictorial or graphical representation of a control system. Now why do we need to study this block diagram representation? So as you know, when we were discussing closed loop control systems, I drew generic block diagrams of room heating control and all those things. But those systems were simpler ones, and for those generic block diagrams help you to understand the main function and how the signal flows from the input to output. So our main purpose of studying a control system, that is the control systems which we will study further in our course, will be complicated ones. So in order to understand the complicated type of control systems, it is block diagram representation is must. Because from block diagram also you see, now this is a block diagram. Now this is an overall closed loop control system. But now if you look at this whole picture, this overall control system will look complicated to you. But if you understand this particular block, this has certain transfer function or gain block, transfer function or gain. This has another transfer function, this subsystem has another transfer function and gain block. And these two feedback elements that consist of feedback transfer functions, that is feedback TF1 means the transfer functions which are present in the feedback path. So these subsystems, so if you want to understand the overall output response of the overall control systems, it is easier for you to calculate and analyze the output response for this particular block, this particular block, this particular block and this particular block. So in such a way we can say that in block diagram we represent a control system, complete control system, which is an interconnection of various subsystems in the forward and the feedback path. Now let us understand the representation in particular and elements of a block diagram. Now what are the elements of a block diagram? These blocks. As the name suggests, why it is called as block diagram? Because it consists of various blocks, and blocks can consist of various transfer function or gain of the particular system. Now by now you should know what is gain, that is G1, G2, or sometimes simple transfer functions might be also present over here. For example, here s plus 2 upon s plus 3, s plus 3 upon s plus 2. So transfer functions in S domain will be also present, or sometimes simply gain blocks will be given. Now what is the first element of a block diagram? That is gain block or transfer function block. Gain block or transfer function block. So these gain blocks or transfer function blocks helps us to analyze the output response. So you know when error signal is generated, that is subtraction of C of S minus R of S, because it is a negative feedback system, because output is taken from here and then it will compare it with the reference input, just as the case was with our room heating system example. So what will be the impact of this gain block on this E of S? can be computed by using this particular transfer function or gain block. So main purpose of gain block or transfer function is to understand what a particular system is do and what will be the output of at the end of each subsystem. So in this way, at each subsystem level, we are able to generate different outputs and understand how we get the output from the input because of the particular transfer function. Because this E of S signal, that is error function signal, will be again multiplied with this gain block. So at this stage your output will be E of S into G1. So how does the output input signal changes when it passes through different subsystem elements? We can analyze it using stage-wise manner, phase-wise manner. Whenever a particular input signal passes from input to output. So that is the first main element of the gain block and its function. I told you that these gain blocks are transfer function blocks. And then these are again the same, that is gain blocks and feedback function blocks, but they are called as feedback function transfer function or feedback gain because feedback gain blocks because they are present in the feedback path. Now all this while I was talking about feedback gain path and all those things. So what is this? So first understand what is the forward path in your control system. What is the forward path in your overall control system? The path from the input node of the control system to the output node. That is the straight line path from input signal R of S to the output signal C of S, which is a straight line path, is known as the forward path of the closed loop control system. And what is the feedback path? Feedback path is the path from the output to the input of the control system. Now as you know, in any closed loop control system, a part of the output is fed back again to the input and error signal is calculated, which is nothing but the subtraction of your reference input from the part of the output which is transmitted from here. So C of S signal is again sent and passes, when it passes through the feedback gain, it would generate some again feedback signal, let's say B of S, and then it would be again compared and error signal will be calculated as R of S minus B of S, let's say. So the path which travels from the output node to the input node is the feedback path of the closed loop control system. And that third element is summing junction. Now what do you mean by summing junction? Summing junction is this particular one. So here this is a summing block. This particular block is known as summing block, which has signs plus and minus. Here minus sign is present because it is a negative feedback control system, and in case this minus, instead of this minus, both the signs were plus of this summing junction, it would have been a positive feedback system because the polarity of the summing junction here is positive. So you would have said that it is a closed loop system but with positive feedback. So if I replace this plus with again with a minus, then it is negative feedback system. And suppose if you have this summing junction somewhere around here also, in between the feedback path, then it can be used for addition purposes also. How that you will learn when we will study block diagram reduction rules. So this is known as summing junction because it is used to add or subtract signals at the nodes. Because as you can see here, B of S is generated after passing through H1 and H2, and then we calculate the error signal as R of S minus B of S because polarity is minus over here. So that is the function of the summing junction. And the fourth important element of the block diagram is takeoff point or takeoff junction, usually called as takeoff point. Now this is known as takeoff point. So what is the function of the takeoff point? It will tap the output from the output node and send some part of it to the input node. So that is why it is known as takeoff point, because it taps off the output or part of the output over here and it again compares with the reference signal, which is R of S, and generates error signal. So by the theory of your closed loop control system, so that is why it is known as takeoff point. So these were all the four basic elements which constitute block diagram. So block diagram representation is nothing complicated, but it is a simpler way to represent a complicated control system and to individually analyze the output at each block so that we can calculate the overall output response of the control system or output of the control system when an applied input or excitation is applied to it. So it is pretty much convenient to us. But also, as you can see, uh, you can call it disadvantage or advantage, I don't know, but here, as you can see, in case of electrical networks you studied, that here, so there is one unique advantage or disadvantage of block diagram representation. So sometimes it can be disadvantage also. So as you studied in your electrical network course, when you draw any network or any electrical system, you have different passive components connected. You have sometimes, if it is a DC circuit, you will have all DC sources and all, and then the network becomes complicated. But in control systems, the in block diagram representation, you see that you don't see any sources connected or the polarity of the sources connected. You will only see the reference input which is connected, and the polarity will be present only in the summing junction. But that would be not. But the source will not be represented explicitly as we were representing explicitly in electrical networks. So that also sometimes reduces the complexity, because as it is we are interested in only getting the output response, and the output response depends on the individual transfer functions. So unnecessary detail is eliminated, and it is a disadvantage also, because from this control system block diagram representation, we do not know now whether this system is an electrical system, mechanical system, or a hydraulic system, or any other system. So that is also a disadvantage. But primarily when we study very difficult and complicated control system, block diagram representation is must in order to find our desired output response, which is the controlled output of a control system. So let us briefly discuss the advantages of using this block diagram representation approach. Now, what are the advantages? Some of that we have discussed already, but we will just summarize in short now. So, advantages of block diagram representation. So, block diagram, it is simple to construct a block diagram for complicated control systems. As you can see, any complicated system can be represented in the form of block diagram very easily. As you know, only 4 elements you should know in order to be able to construct a block diagram. That is, what are all the transfer functions in the forward path and the feedback path, and there are only two other elements we should remember. That is where we should put the summing junction and where we should put the takeoff point. And if you know how to arrange those, then it is very easy for us as an engineer, as a control system engineer, to draw a block diagram for a complicated closed loop control system. Now, another important thing is, as you can see from this block diagram, this overall control system is a function of, this is also an element of a, this is also the element of the overall control system. So each and every element, function of each and every element or each and every block can be visualized from the block diagram. So what is the function of this block? This is nothing but a block with a transfer function, or it is a gain block which is having certain gain value, let's say G1, generalized value G1, and this block has a particular value G2. So whenever a signal passes from here, from G1 to G2, and after passing through G2, it would be E of S G1 here, it would be E of S G1 G2. So from this only we understood that each function of each particular block can be visualized when we draw block diagram, which would be pretty much complicated if you look at the overall technical specification of the control system. Then you would not be able to analyze what is the output after each and every particular stage over here. But with the help of block diagram, it helps us to do that. So individual or overall output can be obtained by using transfer function or gain block using block diagram. So individual outputs, as we discussed in the previous point, the individual outputs when it passes through this particular block, individual output when it passes through this particular block, and the overall output, this particular output, controlled output, or the whole control system can be computed using the overall transfer function. Now the concept of overall transfer function I will teach you in detail when we will study block diagram reduction rules. So the overall transfer function of this closed loop control system, now as you can see, this is an individual transfer function. This is also an individual transfer function in the feedback path. Now if you want to find what will be the overall transfer function of this overall closed loop system, then there are block diagram reduction rules. These are mathematical rules which we have to follow in order to get the overall transfer function. Now when we know the overall transfer function of the closed loop control system, so for time being, remember that when we know any transfer function of a closed loop system, it is very easier for us to find the output, because what is transfer function? It is the ratio of overall transfer function, it is the ratio of the overall output or Laplace transform of the output to the Laplace transform of the input. So when we know overall C by R, that is transfer function, let's say s plus 2 or s square plus 4s plus 12, let's say, then whenever you want to find the output response, it would be very pretty much simpler process. I will write it over here. So if I have an overall transfer function, let's say, for example only I am taking this, and how we are going to obtain that overall transfer function? We can obtain overall transfer function using block diagram reduction rules, which we will study in our future lectures. But for time being, when I have an overall transfer function, let's say C by R. Now let's say I have, this is our overall transfer function, s plus 2 upon s square plus 4s plus 12. And whenever we are studying control system or any system, we are interested in finding the output. Now in case of control system, this is known as controlled output. Now this is our controlled output. But now this is a transfer function. We are interested in only C of S part. That is the output response or the controlled output. So what would be C of S? It would be s plus 2 upon s square plus 4s plus 12. And by rules of normal mathematics, take R of S on this side. So this would be nothing but, output response will be nothing but the transfer function multiplied by the reference input. So it was C of S by R of S. So this transfer function will act as a mathematical operator, and it would get multiplied with the reference input. The reference signal we know, because we are the only ones which we are going to apply to the control system. So reference signal will consist of your unit step signal and other reference inputs or parabolic input and so on. So that we will study. The standard reference inputs we will study later. So when we want to compute the overall output response of a control system, you need to know the transfer function. Now I have computed the overall transfer function from, let's say, the block diagram using block diagram reduction rules. Now I am having the transfer function, and I know which set of standard signal test inputs I am applying. So this I know, this I obtained overall transfer function I obtained by solving the block diagram using block diagram reduction rules. So from that only we can come to the achieve our ultimate objective of finding the overall output response of this control system. So for that we will need to study block diagram reduction rules, that we will do later. That's all for the day.